Want more of me?
Me?
Go to MeTVFresno.com for schedules, information on your favorite shows, videos, pictures, and more. Go to MeTVFresno.com today. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.
I'm Lou Grant. Mary asked me to do a promo for Me TV.
You want to see me, Lou?
Not now, Ted. Watch me on...
Danish donut?
I said not now, Ted. Watch me on Me TV.
You don't like me? I'll fire you.
Watch Mary Tyler Moore. I'll fire you.
Me TV Fresno, now on Comcast Channel 187.
Yow.
Hello, I'm John Malos. Next month, October, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And yes, today I'm wearing pink. Real men wear pink. That's what I'm told. Today we're going to talk to the executive director of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. That's the foundation. She's Sharon Johnson. Your phone calls are welcome. Area code 559-265-4331. Back in a minute. Well, it's fast approaching. It's no big secret. October is around the corner, and it means one thing. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But you should be aware each and every day, each and every month, each and every year about breast cancer, because it kills thousands and thousands and thousands of women, even some men across this country and across the Central Valley. That's why today we're talking about the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. That's the foundation. I want to show you a picture of Susan G. Komen and her sister. Susan G. is on the left. Her sister, Nancy Brinker, is on the right. Susan was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 1977 at the age of 33. Sadly, 3 years later, she died. But her sister, Nancy Brinker, made her a promise that she would put an end to breast cancer, or at least try. Thus, she started the Susan G. Komen For The Cure 30 years ago, back in 1982. Let's roll the videotape if we can and take to the run. Later, the Komen Race for the Cure got underway. You're looking at it here, but it didn't come to Fresno until 1999. That's when a young Fresno State student by the name of Carolyn Jorgensen saw an ad in a running magazine, and she helped bring that race right here to the Central Valley. Well, you know what? It's taking place again this year on October the 20th. We're going to talk about that today. But Jorgensen, sadly, she passed away from breast cancer back in 2007. So all in all, about $2.6 million has been raised here in the Central Valley. A lot of that money has gone to local nonprofits in the form of grants to help pay for breast cancer education, the screening, the treatment, and support. Live in our studio now is Sharon Johnson. She is the executive director of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure right here in the Central Valley. Your phone calls are important today because you can ask Sharon questions about breast cancer. She's a two-time breast cancer survivor. We're going to talk about tips. We're going to talk about screening. We're going to talk about all the things that you need to do to be aware about breast cancer. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am wearing pink today. Real men do wear pink, right, Sharon?
Yes, they do.
We're back in just a moment with your phone calls. 265-4331, a very important cause today.
From now on, when I sneeze, I'll try to sneeze more friendly.
And we're back. I want to reiterate the phone call situation. It's very important today that you call in if you so choose. The number is 265-4331. We're talking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming up in the month of October. The Race for the Cure is coming up on October the 20th right here in the city of Fresno. We have the executive director of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. That's the foundation, of course. Sharon Johnson, the executive director. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, well, thank you. Do you know who was sitting in that seat on Monday was this Stephanie Barusian?
A great advocate.
Yeah, now she does the buddy check on
she
Channel
does.
24. Okay, how important is that?
It's really important to be reminded once a month to check your breasts, and that also is one of the 4-step keys to breast self-awareness that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and if you're not feeling well, you should check it more than once a month, should you not? Right?
Well, if there's something that you're feeling that isn't normal, absolutely. But the most important thing is to call your doctor right away.
Right. All right. Let me ask you now, you're a breast cancer survivor. Tell us your story quickly if you can. Now, you went through it the first time. Go through that with us, and the second time.
Okay. In 1999, I was diagnosed 4 days after Christmas, and it was invasive ductal carcinoma.
Not sure what that is, but...
Well, it is the type of cancer that can spread throughout the breast and in other places of the body if not detected. Yes. So in my case, I underwent a lumpectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation, and took a tamoxifen, which is an estrogen blocker, because they found in my case my tumor was aggressive because of estrogen feeding the tumor. Yeah. So then I was re-diagnosed in 2010 with another type of cancer called ductal carcinoma in situ, which does not spread like invasive ductal carcinoma.
It's a little slower in growing than the cancer?
It can be, yes.
Okay.
And I underwent a bilateral mastectomy at that time.
Is that unusual to have a person such as yourself to go through it twice? Or is that more common than not?
I think it's fairly rare that someone goes through it twice. To go through it twice with 2 different diagnoses is probably also a little bit rare. But my feeling was I needed to be proactive, and that's why I had both breasts removed.
Right. All right. We're talking with Sharon Johnson. She's the executive director of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. Your phone calls are important here. 265-4331. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, of course, is in October, and Ventura TV is going to be a major part of that, of course, and we are today talking about this. And I want to put some bullet points up on the screen right now. I want to put a full screen up, and I want to talk about each of these bullet points individually.
Okay.
Slowly, so people can understand. Let's put them up on the screen, and we can talk about them one at a time. Okay. This is, you can look up on the screen there. Know what is normal for you. The first bullet point says lump, hard knot, thickening. What does that mean? Explain that.
It means when you are checking your breasts, and if you feel a lump, hard knot, or any thickening in any part of the breast, the chest wall, up near your clavicle, which is your collarbone, or under your arm, that's a warning sign.
Okay, how about the second bullet point? We've got swelling. Oops, you got to go back. No. Wrong screen. We're still on bullet point 2 there. If we can go back to it, I'd appreciate it, because we're talking about swelling, warmth, redness, and darkening.
Those can indicate also either an infection or something more in the breast, a breast cancer, an inflammatory breast cancer. So that, again, if any of that is noticed, a physician should be consulted immediately.
All right, Sharon, talk about the next bullet point, change in size or shape.
Most women do have one breast a little bit larger than the other. However, what this means is when checking your breasts and you're looking in front of a mirror, if one all of a sudden looks much larger than the other, or if the shape change, indication to call your doctor.
All right, dimpling or puckering, I should say, of the skin. What does that mean?
Exactly what it says. You may see a dimple in the breast, in the skin of the breast, or puckering of the skin in a certain area. And again, that is definitely a reason to call your doctor for a further check.
Okay, now we can change the graphic to the next one, and you can see itchy, scaly, sore, or rash on nipple.
Yes, and that can also involve the nipple, but other parts of the breast. Could indicate an allergy, also could indicate breast cancer.
All right. Pulling in of the nipple or other parts of the breast, what does that mean?
That's when the nipple inverts. Or older that are not of childbearing age. That's certainly reason to call your doctor.
And obviously, pain that doesn't go away, that's an obvious key sign that something's wrong.
Correct. Yes, if it doesn't go away within a reasonable period of time, certainly call your doctor right away.
All right, so of all the bullet points that we put up there, if you have any one of these and you're concerned, you should do what?
First of all, you should call your doctor, get in to see them. Your doctor's going to perform a clinical breast exam first. They will determine whether or not there's reason to send you forward for further testing.
What happens during a clinical breast exam? Explain what that means, what the clinical part of it means.
Okay. That's where you see either a nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, or an MD. You're lying down on your back, and there's a systematic check of the breast in circular motions that they take with the pads of their hands.
And there's a certain way to do that, a proper way to check your breast, which is the circular motion that you're talking about?
It's important for a clinician to check you that way. For you to try to do that on a daily basis, you shouldn't be too concerned about the technicality of how you're doing it. The fact that you're just doing it either lying down or in the shower is what's important.
Okay, we're talking with Sharon Johnson. She is the executive director of the Central Valley Susan G. Komen For The Cure. The race is coming up on October the 20th. It's a very, very important cause. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We want your phone calls. We want your feedback. If you have any questions or concerns, you're out there watching, you want to ask Sharon a question, please call in. We encourage your phone calls at 265-4331. Back in just a moment.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new, fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
Wearing pink today in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's coming up in October. This is September 28th, so it's only a few days away. And of course, Stephanie Barusian was here on Monday talking about Buddy Check on Channel 24. Very important. The Susan G. Komen For The Cure used to be called the Susan G. Komen Foundation, but they changed it, right?
Yes, they did in 2007.
Yeah, and what was the reason for that? Just kind of flows better, or what was the...
Not so much. Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation was a little bit of a long word. We wanted to still keep the Susan G. Komen in there because that's important to honor that promise that Nancy Brinker made to Susan G.
Well, breast cancer awareness is certainly important all year round, not just the month of October.
Correct.
We do have a phone call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question for Sharon?
For Sharon?
Yeah, or any kind of a question. Go ahead. We're talking about breast cancer today.
What about males that have the dimple and puckering by their nipple? That are male, not a female.
I'm glad you asked that question.
Is that a cause for concern?
I'm glad you asked that question. You know, men can get breast cancer too. And really the same things that we just talked about as far as physical differences in what the breast looks like could also apply to a man. So the dimpling or puckering should be cause for concern enough to call a doctor.
Okay. He's the doctor that he goes to only sees them every couple of months, and they haven't really said anything about it. So should we bring that to their attention?
Are they aware of it?
I'm not sure if they are or not.
I would definitely be sure that they are aware that it's in the medical record and the doctor has taken a good look at it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you for watching and thank you for your call. I appreciate it. Yeah, men, what's about 1%?
Correct.
I think you mentioned. What's the exact figure?
About 1,000 men a year, I believe, develop breast
country?
cancer. Yes.
Okay, so it's rather uncommon, but you know what? It can happen.
It can. We have a gentleman here in Fresno. His name is Harold Kelly, that's spoken a lot about it just to bring awareness to men.
Why are women more apt to get it than men?
We just have more breast tissue, and
Okay.
also because we have estrogen. Some estrogen actually makes tumors grow. So since men don't have much estrogen, mostly testosterone, there's that difference.
And a question maybe you get a lot of, if you have breast cancer or get breast cancer, are you more susceptible to getting other forms of cancer in other parts of your body? For example, cervical or whatever.
It depends upon the genetics and what the genetic testing shows.
Okay. So it's not necessarily a sign that something else is happening in your body and may happen.
Correct.
Okay. We talked about the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. It used to be the foundation. Now it's For The Cure. And Race for the Cure is coming up on the 20th. But let's take a look at a video now that was made by the Susan G. Komen For The Cure and Nancy Brinker, her sister. Let's take a look and listen.
My name is Nancy Brinker. In 1980, I lost my sister Susie to breast cancer. She was only 36 and the mother of 2. Before she died, I promised her that I wouldn't stop until a cure was found. That promise became Susan G. Komen For The Cure. 30 years ago, things were very different. Few women got mammograms, and some weren't even told they had the disease. And too many kept their illness a secret because they felt ashamed. But just a generation later, we've made incredible progress. We've helped reduce death rates by more than 30%. And today, we're on the cusp of breakthroughs that will lead to cures. Last year, we helped hundreds of thousands, but so many more women still need us, and we can only help them with your support. Together, let's continue to give millions of women around the world the chance they deserve.
Well, how important are mammograms?
They're very important. You know, starting at age 40, every woman should have one once a year.
Yeah. Why are they important?
They are really...
What do they do? What can a doctor or a technician notice by taking that mammogram?
Well, a mammogram is like an X-ray of the breast. And mammograms can actually detect 85% of breast cancer that can't be felt on a breast self-exam.
So that's a known fact, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, 85%.
85% they can pick up if you don't feel it. So that's why accompanying the self-breast exam when you're age 40 and the clinical breast exam, that a mammogram is so important.
Right, okay. Sharon, do we know how many women die from breast cancer each year?
Over 40,000.
Across the country?
Yes.
That's very high. And how much closer are we now to finding, you know, why and maybe a cure, as opposed to 30 years ago when Susan G. Komen passed away?
Well, the medical advances have been extraordinary. First of all, mammogram has improved because of technology. It was analog, it's now digital. So within just a click of an email, you can send a mammogram across the country for a second opinion.
Right. I want to talk to you a little bit more about the mammogram coming up after the break here. We're talking with Sharon Johnson. She's the executive director of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. Of course, the race is coming up on October the 20th here in the Central Valley in Fresno, and hope you can be a part of it. You got to wear pink. Hey, even if you're a man, don't be ashamed. You're supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month for the month of October. Back in just a moment.
Sunday night.
Let's move.
A perfect night for crime. A perfect night for me.
You've got to help me.
Me TV, that is. With detectives.
My name is Gunn.
Fugitives.
I didn't kill her.
Guns. Surly.
This is the Twilight Zone.
And much, much more.
You'll go along with that, won't you?
Sunday Night Noir, starting at 10/9 Central on Me TV.
And I want to put up another graphic as we're talking to Sharon Johnson here, talking about the guide. This should be your guide. Let's put that graphic up on the screen here because it's very important and people need to look at this. So keep that up there for just a couple of minutes. Some bullet points here again. Number one, know your risk. And explain that, Sharon.
You should know what your family history is and what your personal risk is for possibly developing breast cancer. These are really important facts to talk over with your doctor. It's important for him to know what your family risk is.
Okay, get screened. That means what, mammograms?
Well, at age 20, start having a clinical breast exam every 3 years. At age 40, if you're of average risk, a mammogram yearly. It also means clinical breast exam yearly. Also, checking your breasts.
Know what is normal for you.
Well, you have to know what is normal for you, which includes knowing what your breasts feel like when you touch them.
Because what's normal for you may not be normal for your next door neighbor.
That's correct. There could be breast density issues. As long as you do a good touch and feel every single month, whether you be in the shower or laying on your back, Stephanie's Buddy Check program promotes that.
You know, we had I don't know if I can relate this, but keep that graphic up there if you will, just for a minute. We had a golf instructor on this program a couple of weeks ago, and he said, don't take golf advice from your friends on the course that are playing with you. So is that the same advice here? Don't take advice on something as important as breast cancer awareness from your friends, your neighbors, your family members. Is that kind of the same thing?
Yes, it is. You know, you need to do your research. You need to empower yourself with the information that's true, you know, tested and true.
Right.
And everybody is different, especially if you develop breast cancer. No two cases are the same.
And everybody has a different opinion.
Oh, yes.
You know, I mean, you can even go on the internet. Look how many opinions are on the internet. Look how much information. And by the way, speaking of the internet, how much of that information can you rely on the internet?
If it's in a trusted source, you can rely on it. It's a scientific type information that you're receiving.
Okay. All right. And make healthy lifestyle choices. That's the last bullet point. Meaning that you should eat properly, right?
Eat properly. Watch your alcohol intake. Women that are using hormones can discuss that with their doctor if there's another medication they may be put on. Also, if you're of breastfeeding age and you have a child, breastfeeding helps reduce your cancer risk as well.
All right. We're talking with Sharon Johnson. She is the executive director of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. Now, Sharon, we talked about the mammograms, and I want to encourage people to call up at 265-4331 and ask any kind of questions. We've already had one phone call today. Phone line is open if you want to call, 265-4331. There was some controversy a while back about what age you should be taking mammograms. Talk about that.
Well, it was basically a governmental decision, but Susan G. Komen For The Cure and the American Cancer Society stay steadfast with our recommendation. It should start at age 40 if you're of average risk. I do want to say that if you're of high risk, most doctors will get a mammogram for a baseline study as early as age 25.
But what was the controversy? They were saying start the mammograms later in life?
I believe it was every couple of years rather than every year.
Okay.
But a breast cancer survivor like myself who's been diagnosed twice
You've got to do it every
with
year.
a mammogram, we're not going to dispute that. We're going to say every single year.
Yeah, exactly right. Because you never know. I mean, something could happen within that 2-year time frame, especially a breast cancer survivor 2 times like yourself.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, I want to ask you something about the foundation and how do these grants work now? You've raised almost, what, $2 million here in the last few years. How does that money get dispersed out to people that need it for treatment, for mammograms, for examinations, whatever?
Well, we have a competitive grants process where once a year, potential grantees will put forth an application. It's reviewed, and priorities are these. We need screening programs, we need treatment programs, and we also need culturally diverse breast cancer education programs. Those are how they're chosen.
All right. So the grants pay for all these various needs.
Yes,
for patients.
Correct.
Right.
We're the only nonprofit paying for mammograms and screening and treatment.
And your key message from the For The Cure Foundation is what?
Early detection is the key to surviving breast cancer.
That's with anything.
Yes.
Right? With anything. How much do you take to heart being the executive director of this organization. Now you have this race that's coming up on October 20th. How much does it mean to you?
It means a tremendous amount, especially to see the survivors in this survivor recognition ceremony.
But you sitting in the seat that you're sitting in now as the executive director, how much can you put into words of what it means to you?
I want every woman to have the same fighting chance I had.
Yeah.
I'm alive today because of early detection. I want every single woman out there or man that needs screening to have access to it.
Right. And the race is coming up on October the 20th. Where does it take place?
Fresno State by the Satellite Student Union off of the Maple Mall.
What time?
It starts at, well, you can get on the premises at 6:30. Men's 5K is at 7:30. Women's 5K is at 8. Survivor recognition at 9:30, and then the co-ed walk at 10:30.
Okay. How do people get involved in the run? What do they have to do? Can you give us a phone number, a website?
Sure.
Okay.
KomenCentralValley.org is our website. You can register online until October the 16th. You can also check the website on the registration page and download an entry form. You can do that. Or you can call the office at 229-4255.
Okay, we've got a phone call coming in. Good morning, you're on Connect with Me, and your question is what?
I was wondering, I wanted two questions. What does high risk mean when you're at high risk?
If you have a high family history of breast cancer, let's say a mother, a grandmother, and an aunt, that would be considered high risk. Also,
like in the family.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Like in the family.
In the
right?
family, yes. Or many times if you've been treated with radiation for a condition, that could put you at high risk as well.
Okay, and where are there places that you could go that's basically free to do this?
If you call our office at 229-4255, we have 2 places that can screen you for eligibility and refer you for that mammogram.
Okay, 229-4255?
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have a history of breast cancer in your family, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Okay, who had it? What relatives?
Let's see, my aunt and then my mom just recently had it.
Oh, my. Is she still alive, your
Yeah,
mother?
she's still alive. She survived it, and she was 90-something.
Great. And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 56.
Oh, you've got to get that mammogram once a year then, huh?
Yeah, I haven't had one in I don't know how long.
Oh.
Please call me.
Okay, 229-4255.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for the call. I really appreciate it. So how much money approximately do you raise for the race?
Last year it was $354,000. We're hoping to do the same this year.
Wow, $354,000. So all that goes into a grant pot, right? For the most part.
25% of it actually supports national breast cancer research.
Right. How many breast cancer survivors would you say are in this area here, the Central Valley?
All I can do is judge by those that attend our
Roughly
events.
speaking, 500. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How many people in this Central Valley in Fresno pass away from breast cancer?
About 100 people a year.
In the Central Valley?
Correct.
And about 40,000 nationwide?
Yes.
Amazing. Well, we have another graphic we want to put up here before we go. It's from KitchenAid. It's one of the major brands that we carry right here in the store at Ventura TV. They, look up there, Sharon, they are sponsoring, of course, a major corporate sponsor of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure, the foundation, the race, the run. So KitchenAid is one of many corporate sponsors around the country that are a part of this organization. Isn't that nice?
It's wonderful. We have very loyal and very supportive corporate sponsors.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you being here, and give out the phone number one more time real quick before we go because we're almost out of time.
229-4255.
Okay. Any questions they can ask you, and maybe you can direct them in the right place.
I'll do the best I can.
Oh, Sharon, best of luck to you. Anything
Thank
we
you
can
very
do,
much.
let us know.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having
Come
me.
back again, and good luck with the race.
Thank you.
Sharon Johnson of the Susan G. Komen For The Cure. The race is coming up October the 20th here at Fresno State in the city of Fresno. Have a great weekend. We're back Monday with Mark Cross, a photographer from the Fresno Bee. See you then.
Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like Me TV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.
James Arness is Marshal Matt Dillon.
They were looking for me. They're going to be back.
On Gunsmoke.
That's right.
Weekdays at 1 on Me TV.